loin is like the blank canvas of the meat world. Or at least it tastes like one, and that is unless you do something serious to that notoriously lean cut of meat. But lucky for us, Becky's here and she's going to show us something special to do with pork loin.
That's right. I have a center cut pork loin, and it's sort of the poster child of the other white meat campaign.
It's true.
It's got a compact, uniform shape, it's attractive, it makes really nice slices, but it's a little bit on the lean side. It needs some adornment.
Right. It's utilitarian, not necessarily celebratory.
That's right.
Change that.
We are going to change that. And we're going to start by brining the meat.
Okay.
So let's make a brine. We have a half a cup of table salt into 2 quarts of water and a 1/4 cup of sugar. So we'll just stir that until it dissolves here.
Sugar is a great way not only to add flavor, but it's also going to help later on with browning.
Okay, that's looking pretty good. So here's our pork roast. It's a 2.5 to 3 pound center cut pork roast. And you see this has a really nice fat cap on
Beautiful.
it. And we definitely don't want to take that off. That fat tastes good.
Right, right.
So I am going to score it though. I'm going to make some incisions here, a 1/4 inch apart, trying just to go in the fat and not to hit too much of the meat. This is going to help the herb paste that we'll be adding later. It'll give that something to cling to.
Nice.
It'll also make the meat a little bit easier to brine. It'll brine a little bit more quickly. We like fat.
I do.
Okay, now I'm just going to go the other direction. 1/4 inch apart again.
Little diamond cross hatching.
You got it. Okay, so we're just about done with our cross hatching here. And now I'm going to create a pocket in this roast. We're going to make an herb paste, and we're going to put that herb paste inside the roast so that every bite gets some of that yummy goodness. I'm going to start a 1/2 inch from the end of the roast here. I'm going to stick my knife in.
And you're going right into the center too.
Yep, I don't want to cut through this side, but I want to go as deep as I can.
Okay.
So I'm just using short strokes here to create this pocket. All right, that looks pretty good. So we're going to be able to put a nice amount of our herb paste in there. All right, let's put our pork in to our brine. Now, if you happen to find enhanced pork that's been injected with a saltwater solution, you don't want to brine it because then it'll turn out too salty.
Okay.
And you'll know it's been enhanced because it'll say so right on the label. It'll talk about the salt. So if you buy that, just skip this step and you can just season the meat right before you brown it.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, since my hands are all full of pork,
got it.
we'll put that in the fridge for an hour and then we'll make sure to pat it dry when it comes out of the fridge.
All right.
Now let's get going and really start some nice flavorings for the pork.
You weren't kidding. You're doing some zhuzhing here.
I have some plans here.
Excellent.
Okay, we're gonna start by making a nice breadcrumb crust that's gonna add a little bit of texture and a little bit of flavor to the outside of the pork. So I have 1 slice of white bread. We'll put this in the food processor. And we just wanna pulse this up until it's ground up. That'll be about 16 pulses.
Okay.
All right, that looks good. We'll take those out. So you should have about 1 cup of crumbs.
Okay.
So now let's flavor this up a little bit.
Okay.
A tablespoon of olive oil. That'll help it brown.
Extra virgin?
Yes.
Okay.
2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. And here's 1 shallot that I minced. And that's about 3 tablespoons. And then 1/8 of a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. Now I'll just use a little fork here and mix that up. Just want to get that oil distributed. Smells good already. So there is our breadcrumb topping. Okay. Now let's make our herb paste.
All right.
Let's start with 1/3 cup of parsley. You could also use basil. What we're doing is we're using a good amount of a tender, sort of mild herb, and then we're gonna really bump things up with some potent stuff. And now 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme. That smells so good.
It's an herb paste.
It's kind of citrusy. I love that smell, so good. And then we have a teaspoon of fresh rosemary. You could also use a 1/2 teaspoon of dried rosemary if you want, but you don't want to use dried thyme. When we tried that, it made the spice paste taste kind of dry and dusty.
Not good.
Definitely go for the fresh. Then we have 6 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
3 tablespoons of olive oil. There's 1 clove of garlic minced up. And 1/8 of a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. So then we'll just pulse this up in the food processor until it's nice and smooth. That'll be about 12 pulses.
Okay.
That looks nice and smooth and it smells amazing. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
So good, right? All those herbs.
If this doesn't do anything to the pork loin, nothing can. Oh, so fresh.
Yeah, super fresh. I love that rosemary.
Yes.
All right, and now let's put this all together.
Okay.
Here's our pork roast, nice and dry. Now I'm going to measure out a 1/4 cup of this paste. Okay, now I'm just gonna stuff that pocket that we made earlier. We're just gonna get right in there. I'm probably gonna use my fingers. You wanna get it all the way back into the meat. All right, so we'll just push that in there.
And what's nice about this is it's not a big, bulky stuffing. It's just a really, really potent paste. So
Right.
you're not gonna risk all of that tumbling out later on.
That's right. It's going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. All right, so our pork is stuffed, and now we're going to tie it up so that when we brown it, we hold all that paste inside the meat.
Okay.
I just have some kitchen twine here, and we'll just tie it at about 1.5-inch intervals.
And even if you're not stuffing a pork loin with anything, it's a good idea to tie it up before you cook it. Pork loins, tenderloins, beef tenderloins, all of these kind of cylindrical shapes, they'll cook much more evenly if you tie it before browning and cooking.
All right, so this is looking good here. And I'll just give this a little trim here.
Gotcha.
Get rid of some of the ends. Okay, so I have 2 teaspoons of olive oil heating up over medium-high heat here. We're going to use that pan to brown the pork.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm going to season the roast with a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper.
It doesn't need any salt because it was brine.
That's right, unless we were using the enhanced pork. In that case, we would use 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt
Okay.
at this point. Let's get the underside here.
There's so much flavor going into and onto this pork, it doesn't stand a chance.
So good.
It will relent to the good flavors.
That's right. It has no choice.
That's right.
Okay, so we're seeing some shimmering happening. Put the pork in fat side down. That's the part that's going to get the most browning.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Okay, that means our pan was hot enough. If you didn't hear that sizzle, take
Get
it
it
out and
out.
try it again. Yeah. So this will take about 10 minutes to brown on all sides.
All right.
All right, so we're getting there. It's been about 7 or 8 minutes, and we just have one more side to brown.
Jeez, look what brown can do for you.
Ooh, doesn't that look gorgeous?
It's stunning. Yeah.
And you see it stayed nice and compact with the tying that we did, and you can't see that herb paste anymore, but we have that secret that it's in there, so
Okay.
it's gonna be good stuff. It's been about 10 minutes. I think we're looking good here. Oh yeah,
That looks beautiful.
that's beautiful. So I'm putting the pork on a wire rack on a baking sheet that's lined with aluminum foil. Now I'm just gonna snip off that twine. We just needed that while we were browning it. All right, there's the last one. So here's the rest of the herb paste. Remember, I used a 1/4 cup, and
Yes.
now we have some left over. We're going to spread that on top of the fat cap. And that has the Parmesan cheese in it to attach all those breadcrumbs. When it hits the hot pork, their aromas start to come out, right? The oils.
Absolutely.
Okay, that smells amazing. Okay. All right, and here's our breadcrumbs. We're just gonna pack this on top. We're gonna just press it on there to make a nice crumb crust.
Ooh, yeah. You're turning this into something very special.
Yeah, this is for company.
I hope I'm company.
Of course. You wanna come over?
Yes, exactly.
You know what we're having. You know it's gonna be good. Okay, so this is ready to go. We're going to put it in a 325-degree oven for 50 to 75 minutes until it hits 140 degrees.
Okay.
All right, so it's been about an hour. Let's grab the roast.
Ooh.
Doesn't that look pretty?
Yes, it looks incredibly beautiful. I'm following the aroma.
Oh my gosh, so good. So let's take a check here of the temperature. We're looking for 140 degrees. And there it is. Nailed it.
Nice.
Okay, so this needs to rest for 20 minutes. You just need to hold on 20 more minutes. Hands off.
Very crispy on the top.
Yeah, I know, right? I know I want to touch it too. All right, 20 minutes and then we'll dive in.
Okay.
All right, so it's been 20 minutes. You're inhaling it. You're taking it all in.
I am, and I know I had to wait, but it really, especially for something like pork roast that's so lean, you want to let it rest for a good 20 minutes so all those juices can be reabsorbed by the meat.
And I promise it's still nice and hot.
Okay, good.
So I'm gonna carve this into about 1/2-inch slices.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It's kind of amazing.
You want to be a little bit careful when you carve it. You don't want all that herb paste to go gushing out,
Right.
so just take your time.
I mean, I know that you put Parmesan cheese in there as acting kind of like a glue.
Yeah.
But I half expected to all squish out. I should have had faith in you.
Oh, you can see it's juicy too. See all the
Oh,
juices?
yeah.
So good. Okay. Smells amazing.
All right, take a look at that. Juicy. I mean, it's super juicy.
Yeah, it really is. You can see all the juices. Can you hear me crunching?
That first bite was delicious. And even though I got a little bit of that herb paste, you can actually taste the pork too.
Yeah, the pork has a really nice flavor. It's nicely seasoned. It's beautifully juicy.
It's really juicy.
And we have just the right amount of those potent herbs, the rosemary and the thyme, and then all the parsley to give it some bulk.
Pork loin that's beautiful and juicy and fully flavored. Whoever said it couldn't be done, they didn't know that you were around.
That's right. I did it meat. Who knew?
Becky did meat. Exactly. Yay, Becky. Well, there you go. If you want the best dressed up roast pork that's really easy to do, score the fat cap on a pork loin, create a pocket, and then brine it. Create a crumb topping with breadcrumbs, parmesan, and shallot, and an herb paste with parsley, garlic, and olive oil. Spread the paste inside the pocket, tie it all up, and then brown that roast all over. Remove the twine, coat the top with more herb paste and crumb mixture, and then roast it. Slice it and serve. So from America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, a fabulous company-ready herb-crusted pork roast. So I'm coming over on Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. I know just what to make.
And Wednesday. And Thursday.
Let's not go overboard.
Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.